John Clark now joins us. John, welcome, mate. Great to have you with us.
You got it. How you doing?
Good. Are you going to the Springsteen concert?
Yeah, I think I am. Absolutely.
I love it. Yeah, Springsteen's going to be at the Jordan Center at Penn State on Saturday. I know you got him there tonight, but that's great.
Yeah. You going Saturday night?
My plans are to stay here in Des Moines.
Oh, Des Moines.
With the NCAA tournament. I'm at the NCAA basketball tournament.
Okay.
Hopefully Penn State wins tonight, and they'll play Saturday. So, all right.
Yeah, you're tied up. I get that. That's good. That's even better.
That's a good thing. John, Miles Sanders goes to Carolina. Not unexpected he's leaving Philadelphia, and it just turned out the landing spot was Carolina. So they need to find another running back to go with the group. What's your thoughts on Rashad Penny?
Well, I just got back from the press conference to introduce him. He is a big man. He's got big shoulders. He's thick. I believe he's like 5'11", 220, 225, something like that. But he's thick, and I think it's taken a chance. He is injured a lot, but when he is healthy, he's very, very productive. I mean, his last 10 games that he's been healthy, he's averaging close to 7 yards a carry, and he has over 1,000 yards in his last 10 games when he's healthy. So I think a rotation or a running back committee will help him. You got Kenny Gainwell, you got Boston Scott, and maybe they'll draft one. You never know. But I think a rotation will help the situation because that'll keep him fresher and healthier.
Yeah, Penny played against Penn State when he was at San Diego State. Johnny can flat out fly. I mean, he has speed. No question about it. They get Bradbury, and then Darius Slay looks like he's coming back. What did you think about how the Slay situation played out?
Well, sometimes this happens with somebody who's making a lot of money and who is a veteran, and he believes he's worth more and wants to be paid more and wants a new contract and wants guaranteed money, but they weren't able to work something out. The Eagles wanted to lower his cap number, so it was determined, okay, well, we're going to have to release you because we have to lower your cap number and we can't give you any more guaranteed money. But I think Slay, from what I hear, Slay really wanted to stay, and they got back to talking during the day, and they were able to work something out to keep him here because probably they were not able to find a lot of money on the open market from calling around because they were given permission to seek a trade and see if there's a better offer, a better deal out there. And there probably is not a big market at his age. And so he's coming back. So I think that's a positive. I mean, to come back with your two starting cornerbacks and still the possibility, I'm told they're trying to get something done with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So to have those guys coming back and the possibility of C.J. coming back, I think that's a very good thing.
John, I always strongly believe, at least over recent experience, that you use free agency to fill your gaps, and then that tells us what direction you want to go in your draft. So the Eagles have been either re-signing their own players or they bring in a guy like Penny. So what do you think now the Eagles' draft direction is based on how they've filled their gaps in free agency?
Well, I would just say I think they probably go defense, right? I mean, that's the obvious. That's stating the obvious, but they are always looking for a pass rusher or a defensive tackle who can get that inside push like Javon Hargrave. They could still draft a cornerback. It doesn't mean that they wouldn't draft a cornerback. If they think they've got a stud sitting there and they want them, I don't think that precludes them from doing that because you've got to rebuild the defense. But they always want to make sure the offensive and defensive lines are good and great, and that's where they win football games. That's what they believe for 2 decades since Joe Banner and Andy Reid and Jeff Lurie were running the show 20-some years ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted a defensive tackle or DN. You see the positions that they value more. Obviously, they value the defensive line first, and then cornerback and linebacker. Once again, they don't value as much. And it's hard to argue because games are won on the line.
Yeah. No, I agreed. What does it mean for not just the field, but the locker room that Brandon Graham and Jason Kelce are both very much in the mix?
Well, I tell you, I mean, Jason Kelce to still be the best center in football at his size and his age, it's fantastic. And I think he and Brandon Graham, as well, Jason Kelce brings toughness, and he plays through so much stuff. So I think the guys around say, well, if this guy's playing through this, man, I just gotta play through it. And I think he brings a toughness, a mental toughness, and he runs that offensive line, and you see what he's able to do in space still. So to get him back, and then Brandon Graham, he's a part-time player now, and you saw that he was able to kind of come in and close out some games with sacks based on being fresh and maybe not having as many reps and as many snaps. So I think for the money, Brandon Graham at $6 million and Jason Kelce still being paid the highest paid center, I think it's a good thing for the locker room. They set the tone. I remember Brian Dawkins, when a young player came into camp and he was doing something, and Brian Dawkins said, "We don't do that here." Well, that's what Kelce and BG do. They lead, and then they set the tone for the culture.
Great answer, John. And then I'll ask you finally this. Hey, when you have success, people want your people. So Philadelphia's had to replace the two coordinators along the way. Any initial thought on either one of the hires?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sean Desai is going to kind of run a similar defense to what Jonathan Gannon ran. I can't say for sure that he's going to be as good as Jonathan Gannon. I mean, Jonathan Gannon did a decent job, and I know a lot of fans weren't a big fan of Jonathan. Maybe he didn't blitz enough like they want him to. But I think in Philly it's going to be hard to find a defensive coordinator who's very popular nowadays because you can't really hit like you used to. But I think offensively they're going to stay the same. I think Nick Sirianni had an idea of how he wants his offense and defense to look, and he hired the guys that are going to carry that out. So Shane Steichen was an excellent play caller. It's hard to say that they're not going to have a little drop-off, but I think that the relationship that Jalen Hurts and Brian Johnson have, I think that's huge. He's known Jalen since he was 3 or 4 years old. He called plays in college. So I think they're going to be okay. I think that they had these guys ready. I mean, they definitely had Brian Johnson ready to go because they knew that Shane Steichen and or Gannon could be going. But, Nick Sirianni once again said he's not going to call plays, so he has trust in Brian that he can get it done.
I trust you'll have a great time tonight at Springsteen. Enjoy it, John. Thanks so much for your time today.
You got it. Enjoy the trip out there, and good luck to the Nittany Lions.
Thanks so much, John. Appreciate it.
You got it. See ya.
John Clark.